have you guys in at your tables discuss what your favorite dessert is and why do you like it, and have you ever made it before? And if you don't make it, where do you buy it? You can discuss this at your table for a few minutes.
What is your favorite?
My favorite dessert is scone.
Like
Scone.
scone?
Yeah. British scone.
At least
Yeah.
can
I see a picture of it?
Because we like to pretend it's healthy. I don't know. I would say one. Okay, so you do pie.
I was gonna say, I was thinking.
Oh.
Have you ever tried it?
Cheesecake is
So
up
what
there.
about yours?
But also getting a very
Cheesecake.
Cheesecake.
I love cheesecake.
chocolate brownie.
Where did you
with
get
ice
it?
cream on top.
When I
However
was
you
there,
want.
any
Just eat it
pastry
all.
shop.
You take like a bite of ice cream
that sells
and a bite of
cheesecake.
chocolate
So
brownie.
no
all
any
in the same
particular
bite.
shop?
It's
No.
so good.
Cheesecake?
But it
Yeah.
has to be a
What kind of
warm
cheesecake?
brownie and cold ice cream. The combination.
You know, honestly, I don't have like a favorite. Probably strawberry. You know, but
Like like is it like the classic cheesecake and then strawberries on top?
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really good.
So any pastry shop. Yeah, some cheesecake.
It's like a bread.
Say scone.
Mm-hmm.
Any shops?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I have a very flavor. There will be chocolate chips.
Chocolate chip.
Yeah.
Scone.
In the scone. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's very good. Scones are
It's
good.
really yummy.
Have you ever made them?
Yeah.
You just
Like
buy
a milk
them.
puff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah,
know? Do you know how
that's what I
to?
thought you were fried.
Not really.
Yeah, those are good.
Wait, what is it?
Like a puff.
Yeah, I've never
Oh,
made
Cheesecake.
I definitely don't know. I would love to learn, but I don't know how to. This
My brother really
scone,
liked it, so I
now
think he always requested
I
that.
looked at it closely.
Oh, really?
I've tried it before. Is it okay? Question: is it sweet?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Also,
But
especially
not
as a kid, I
sweet.
used to
Not
Not sugary.
Okay.
cinnamon swirls. No, what is it called?
Cinnamon rolls?
Cinnamon rolls.
Yeah, I've tried it.
You can try it.
Yeah, they're really good.
I just didn't know that they actually have them in like
It's-
different flavors, like you said, the chocolate chip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The texture will be fluffy.
Mm.
Yeah.
Is it slightly hard
And
or not?
she's baking
No?
banana bread today.
Hard.
Just a little bit or not?
Not really.
Usually I glance
Yeah.
at it just to make sure that I've had everything right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if I've made it like a lot, like recently.
And you, Professor Tim, what's your favorite dessert?
I've been trying to stay away from it.
Oh, your favorite?
I stopped eating anything sweet about 6 years ago.
6 years ago.
Yeah, but sometimes I couldn't resist.
You like jelly?
I gain weight really easy.
Mm.
Even over a weekend, if I have something
Oh,
bigger,
yeah, we do.
like a hot pot,
Mm.
I will gain like 2 to 3 kilos.
Wow.
So
that's a
good.
lot.
Yeah.
My personal favorite.
And then back in the, I went to England for 1 year, and it was really cold, especially we started the school from about October,
I thought those were just like.
and then it's always like a single digit every day.
Very
Um,
cool.
What's a cream?
I'm not good. I wasn't good with cooking.
Mm.
So whenever I do grocery shopping, I would purchase a big bunch of
No.
snack bars.
Mm.
And if you buy them in a big volume, it's always cheaper.
Of course.
So I remember one
Oh,
weekend I
yeah.
had 10 Snickers,
Use like a.
the chocolate bars,
Ooh.
all in a pack. And I said,
In one weekend.
and then I bought
You
them,
bought them. Oh, you
and I
didn't
thought
eat all of
probably
them.
I can eat one every
Mhm.
night when it gets really cold. I didn't want to get like these cinnamon rolls. You can probably have these in London, but it's not that. Week. Actually, I ate up everything one night.
In one night.
Yes. It just gets so cold, and also I had a very stupid way. It's just regular instant noodle. When it gets cold, people do something strange. So in Taiwan, you just put everything, boil hot water. That's pretty much it. Maybe you add some egg or some vegetables. But I started putting bacon, and if you add one slice of bacon, it makes it really
Good. That's a try.
yeah. But after one time added about 5 slices of bacon. That's the beginning of everything.
No wonder why you said you used to put on this. You really have to know how to control your intake as you get carried away.
Yeah, typically like now 1:30 to about 4:30. The classes always started from the afternoon, graduate school. I had a really late one. It ended about 7, but because in United Kingdom is way up atmosphere, right? I mean, and the hemisphere. You got up a class, it's all dark, freezing, it gets really cold, and I started eating everything sweet.
What does this sweet like chocolate bars or Snickers?
How
How do they help to make you feel comfortable in the cold? What about the chocolate bars?
No, I just feel hungry, and then this is probably the easiest one to stop the hunger.
Okay. It's just to satisfy your hunger.
I need a mashed potato gravy.
I didn't really go beyond that, even though there are a lot of choices in the United States, and they give me too
It's not
sweet.
as sweet, but
If it's really too sweet.
I'm just saying I can eat a mashed potato gravy.
Everybody in my family loves dessert, so I stop everything.
could eat one.
But 5, 6, 7.
Okay, Jamie, what was your?
And I also use that to drink a lot of Coke. So
So
now just water.
it's hard for me to say what because it's really in the moment.
Uh-huh.
I don't have one where I'm just like, I always want this.
Yeah.
I have a few that I'm like, oh, those always sound good. But like, if you had a menu, I don't know which one I'll choose. One of them is like a fruit pie. I love fruit pie. Especially like the one that Laura made for my birthday, which was the key lime pie.
Oh, yeah.
Key lime pie, which is great. Another one is having a chocolate brownie as the base and then ice cream on top. And donuts.
And
We were talking about donuts, and so now I want donut.
Rita, what's your favorite dessert?
My favorite dessert is scone.
Scone, yes.
Yeah. And my favorite flavor would be
Scone.
chocolate chips.
It's like pastry.
Yeah. It's fluffy and a little bit hard.
Yeah, scones are really good.
I think it's really funny that a lot of other countries are like, oh, that's a good dessert, and America's like, that's a good breakfast.
Yeah.
Like we eat scones and donuts for breakfast.
Yeah.
You're really unhealthy.
And,
Yeah.
then what's your favorite dessert?
My favorite dessert is the cream puff.
Mhm.
Puff. Yeah, I like this texture when it comes to dessert. So crispy outside.
Like the soft
Yeah.
inside.
Mhm.
Yes. Have you ever made them? No.
Yeah.
Those always feel like pretty hard. I don't know how you.
I know where to buy it. Good one. Just need the lotus point. Lotus point.
Yes, I
That
have
one,
those.
like at the corner.
Yeah. So.
What's the
good.
name of the store?
Perfect.
I will look it up later.
Yeah.
It's very easy to find. Like just like
Really?
across the
Yeah.
tiger and dragon.
Okay. I can walk. I can physically walk this, right? I wanted to know.
That's funny.
I only found one Thai restaurant in near Kaohsiung Medical Hospital at the Medical University.
Oh,
It's weird. I think the lady is from here, but probably the best I can get.
interesting.
People in the south of Taiwan probably don't eat much sweet, so I'm really surprised. Very difficult to find. I looked up pies the other day. There's only one.
You could maybe pay Laura to make you one.
I'm thinking maybe after today she will wanted to change her job. Open a store next to James.
Yeah. Banana bread, pie.
After
puffs.
that,
See,
go
okay,
there.
this one we'll use bananas from your family farm.
Your banana farm.
Yeah, that I'm losing confidence because my mom gave us another bunch again last week, and it's because no one was looking after it, and it's soft outside, started rotten, and then still hard inside. I had a few bites and didn't like it.
Oh, the bakery shop called Mika.
Oh, pop. Okay. I'm not a big fan of pop. All right, we are sharing a lot of scary stories, but it's okay.
Okay, we'll move on to
Sure.
All right, so this is what a typical recipe in the United States will look like.
Sort of. Minus the story at the beginning.
Oh yeah, that's like kind of online. Yeah. But this is the actual like recipe part. So there's this up here is like just like information section. So a lot of recipes have become famous in the United States because people, mostly women, will have blogs. And the story part Jamie was talking about is they write a ton of stuff before they actually get to the recipe. So yeah, the author of this, like who I got this recipe from, her name is Lainey Schultz. And then a lot of recipes will talk about the prep time and the cook time. So the prep time is about how much time it should take to put everything together and in the pan and then put it in the oven. That's like the prep time. I typically think you should add like 5 to 10 minutes to what most recipes say for prep because I feel like it always is longer. And then cook time would be you cook it for about 45 minutes, which we'll talk about. And then the total time it takes to make is about 55 minutes to an hour. And a lot of people like this feature because then they can look at a recipe and know exactly how long it's going to take them. They're like, okay, do I have time to make this? It says it's going to take about an hour, maybe a little bit longer. So that's kind of good information to know. And then the yield is 2 loaves. I actually just make 1 big loaf with this batter because the pan I use is pretty big. So just 1. And then the category is baking, and the type of what you need to bake it is an oven, which we'll talk about. And then the next category is ingredients that you need, and then the next one is directions, and like the order in which to put the ingredients together. But we'll break this down a little bit more. But first, we'll go over the ingredients we need. Okay, so the first one is flavorless cooking oil. I'm going to pass it around so you guys can see it. So the distinction between flavorless cooking oil and then maybe like olive oil. You're not going to want to use olive oil because it's too strong of a taste. Like you're going to taste it in the baked good. Also, olive oil is really expensive, so don't waste your olive oil on banana bread. Use cheap cooking oil. The kind I use in Taiwan is sunflower seed oil, but a lot of people use like canola oil or corn oil. Really anything that's light in color.
It's pretty much okay. My mom used to use it for cooking, and now we switched to rice oil.
Oh.
A little bit healthier, but a little bit more expensive.
Expensive as well.
It's hard to get. You can make it if you want to get from the shell of the rice, which is rare.
Yeah.
Same thing with the olive oil. If you put it, especially with stir fry, olive oil will give you some kind of funny flavor. It's not that Taiwanese.
Makes sense.
The next ingredient we'll use is white sugar. Yep. I was able to find the small grain, which is actually kind of hard to find in Taiwan because a lot of times it's the larger grain. The larger grain is okay. You just might have to mix it a little bit more so it dissolves before you bake it. But the small grain is most typical in the States. So I'll have you as fast so you can see it.
Interesting.
I did have sugar written on there, but it got a little smudged off on the winder.
Green is very small.
Yeah, very small granules. It will dissolve into the batter easier with smaller granules. We're just gonna leave a collection there for now. All right, the next ingredient are eggs. you're gonna want large eggs. I think in Taiwan most eggs are pretty much the same size,
Yeah.
but I distinguish large eggs because sometimes if an egg is small, you're gonna want to add one, but 2 large eggs.
And these you would consider large?
As large as I'm gonna get in Taiwan at least. All right, the next ingredient is all-purpose flour. So there's lots of different types of flour, but the cheapest and the most common for baking is just going to be white all-purpose flour.
It's a mystery to me. I never understand anything about flour. Like the gluten, and then there are some for noodles, pastas, and here you have baozi, right?
Yeah.
Steaming bomb.
I don't think anyone understands it.
I think flour for like, especially in like Asian cuisine, like for like noodles or for it's called like bao.
Baozi.
Baozi,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
But baozi is like really, really finely like milled. Like it's very, very fine. So then like the dough is more smooth than
I know.
like, all-purpose flour.
Every single time I go into the section of baking, or I just get lost.
yep.
I have no idea. Everything sounds like alien languages to me, even in Chinese.
Well, hopefully this will be more helpful then.
Yeah.
All right, the next thing is baking soda. So I have it in a little jar, but if you're looking for it in the grocery store, you can find a package like this. Look at it.
I use it a lot with shrimp.
Oh, interesting.
To make it squeaky.
Now the
And-
texture will change a little bit. A lot of friends of mine say I'm cheating. Makes it chewy.
And then there's baking powder. I honestly don't know the difference between the two, but it's something with the chemistry. They put it all together, and then when you add heat, it makes it rise.
Okay, that for sure.
yeah.
Isn't it if you
Yes.
put vinegar with baking soda, it
Explodes.
Yeah.
Yes, that is correct. I believe so. Like when you have like bread baked goods, like like this, like we're making like banana bread, or even just like normal white bread, or you're making cake. Anything that you want to rise is gonna have baking powder in it. But cookies are just gonna have baking soda. Yeah, because they're more flat. But if they're more, so they're more flat. But you have to label these because they look very similar to each other. Otherwise, you might have a really flat bread if you get them mixed up.
same with salt and sugar.
Yes. Actually, okay, I'll tell you guys a funny story. When I first started baking, when I was maybe 12 years old, I had been baking with my grandma like a lot, but this was the first time she like let me bake something all on my own. And it's a pretty common dish in the States. It's called pumpkin bars. So it's like basically pumpkin cake. And I was so excited. I like made it all, put it into the pan, put it into the oven, and cooked it. And I think the cook time was like a half hour. And I go to look at it after like half hour, and it's still like completely like runny, like not cooked at all. So I cook it a little bit longer. It's still super, super like runny. We're trying to, so my grandma's like, okay, like let's figure this out. She's like, is my oven broken? Like, what's going on? But it's like the oven's hot, like everything should be fine. And so then we go back through all the ingredients, and I accidentally used powdered sugar instead of flour when I made the batter. So powdered sugar and flour also look pretty similar to each other. Yeah, so that can also happen, which is why having labels is helpful. I mean, now that I'm older, I can tell the difference between powdered sugar and flour, but it's just kind of a funny story. All right, the next ingredient is, oh shoot, I put the wrong picture. I'm sorry, guys. Is milk.
That's what my milk usually looks like.
Yeah,
See, that's part of milk. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
here's milk. The recipe just calls for normal like cow milk, but if you want, you could use like an alternative like soy or almond milk. The milk just adds makes the batter a little bit runnier. The next one is vanilla extract. And vanilla is a really important ingredient in baking. Most recipes, if not all recipes, will have vanilla in it. If you see a recipe that doesn't have vanilla, it maybe is a little questionable if it's like a cake or a cookie or something. Because vanilla just adds a lot of flavor to it. The sugar complements it a lot. And then I think this is the last one, is bananas, specifically brown bananas.
Ripe. Very
Yes,
ripe.
very ripe.
Mhm.
Because the sweeter they are, the sweeter it'll be in the banana bread. Which is helpful because if you forget to eat your bananas, then you're like, oh, well, I gotta make banana bread now.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's a good way to not waste bananas.
People in Japan did a lot of studies on that. This is probably the sweetest. And for a lot of doctors, those are no. Eat them ripe.
It's a no-no.
Yeah, some people even call banana and what else? Watermelon as dessert.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just had a tragedy yesterday. I went to get bananas for my son in Tainan City. There's the APA. So 2 minutes later, my car was towed.
Okay.
Very expensive bananas. My first time in Taiwan. I'm a very good citizen. I never park anything illegally. So now I'm looking at bananas. It really gets on my nerves. Sorry for the record, but I'm not going to vote this year. It hurts me. Unbelievable. It's been 20 years. They haven't done anything about parking space, public transportations. The only thing they add was U-bikes. And do you guys know in Tainan, especially downtown Tainan, you couldn't find any place to return those bikes because it's too tiny. I was really mad because they did it in a very like a sudden way. I can see my car, but the minute I look away, it's gone. And my phone call got to the lady long before my car arrived there.
That's frustrating.
Yeah, and then they put out all the posters saying that if you do this, it's against what law, and all the penalty, and 2 police officers were working around. And you will see how people were actually mad. And my son looked up from the Google comments. Everything is consistently 1 point because every driver was mad. People say it's the end of the year, so be careful if you go out there. I don't think Kaohsiung is a little bit so radical. I had a lot of arguments with the police officers because I feel like they pick up parents. Sometimes I just run over the yellow light. In the States, you don't really have that yellow light problem. You have stop sign and people stop and then you go. Right? Here in especially in Taiwan, major cities, what do you do if you see the yellow traffic light blinking?
Go.
You try to beat it.
Go faster.
Yeah. Actually, that's what we do.
It's exactly the reality, right? But it's totally the other way around. Yeah, stop.
It means to slow down.
Yeah, the only time I ever got busted in Taipei was I ran over a yellow light. I was trying to explain to the female police officer. Yeah, I have to show my ID, and I was born in Taitung. Very effective. If you tell them you are not from here, sometimes.
In America, if you say you're not from there, they're like, oh, more tickets. You're not a local.
I know. A friend of mine actually went to jail because of this. He lied all the time. He pretended he doesn't speak any English. And he had all the tickets and he never paid up. Because I went to the jail to bail him out. $800 right on the spot. And one day he was driving with a lot of American friends and people said, what's wrong with you? Say something. And the police officer got really, really mad. Yeah, got him out of the car and right into the the police office, which is so funny. Anyway, sorry for the distraction. Okay? I have all my anger. I don't know how to get them away. I'm not trying to be emotional for the day, but I don't like
We're gonna
kindness.
talk about the utensils we need.
Okay.
Okay, we need a large bowl to mix everything together.
Mhm.
And then we also need a smaller bowl. It doesn't have to be smaller, but it's just to mash the bananas. So another bowl for that. Yep. Those are the bowls. And then you need measuring cups, which really are only, I think, used in the United States because we have the, what is it called?
Metric.
The metric system, not the imperial system, right? Everywhere else is imperial. So a lot of baking outside of the United States will use grams. So they'll have like a kitchen scale that they use. But in the United States, we use measuring cups. So these are kind of new. The two that I brought are the 1 cup and then the 3/4 cup, because that's what we'll need for our recipe. But a lot of times they'll come in a set that has a cup, 3/4, half, maybe 1/3, and then 1/4 of a cup. So you kind of sometimes have to use math to like add things together. But I just brought these two. I'll pass them around so you can look at them. Yep. But usually like a 1 cup is the largest like measuring cup that you'll find. So when you need more, you just add how many you need, which we'll go over the recipe. The next thing we'll need is a whisk to whisk things together. Pass this around. I feel like that one's probably not foreign. Next one, which I think is the exact same one, is a masher, and we'll use this to mash the bananas. You don't technically need this. You could just use a fork or a spoon to mash the bananas, but if you have the tool, it makes it a little bit easier.
I had everything because of my wife.
The next one we need is a rubber spatula, and this will be good to scrape the sides of the bowl as we mix the batter together. This is also
Yeah, I was just saying with that.
IKEA.
Okay, that's where everything is. Okay.
All IKEA.
It's more like watching martial arts tour. Even though
I forgot to include these.
she was not on TV anymore.
And the measuring cups, we also have tiny measuring cups.
Seriously.
Or this is a tablespoon.
Oh, okay.
Those
Physically,
measuring spoons.
I'm seeing what
Oh, you said measuring cups.
tablespoon means or teaspoon.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
this is a
Yeah.
tablespoon, which is the largest. And then this is a teaspoon, which
Seriously?
is smaller. So 3 of these fit into one of those.
Oh, really? That's good.
It's only people in Boston. Because to me, this is like a very unique word.
Tablespoon is a weird word.
Yeah, it's pretty unique.
You don't really use tablespoon to eat, right?
No, it's just for measuring. And then this is a half a teaspoon.
IKEA as well?
Oh!
No, these are very difficult to find. I never seen them.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure Jess, which is Jamie's wife, she ordered these on Amazon.
Oh, okay.
Because, yeah, for the metric system, for the empirical system.
I don't remember. We packed so much stuff. I don't know what kitchen stuff Jess brought from America and what stuff she bought here.
She bought these on Amazon and had them delivered.
Yeah, but James, actually, my wife travels around the world and collecting them. I have some from England.
Oh, yeah.
Spinner for the salad.
Yeah.
And
Salad spoons are so handy.
but it's odd.
Yeah.
And it takes away a lot of space.
Yeah. But it's so useful if you make a lot of
I know,
salads.
spinning and actually after a while we see them on shopping channel. So, big spinner and then people you even have the steamer. It's like a silicone made, more like a filter. You put balls on the top and it's quite silly. And one time she bought a timer for cooking eggs.
Yeah.
The smaller one, you can put that right into the water, and my mom burns it. Yeah, if you want some kind of like all kinds of different kind of eggs. Okay? She had all kinds of friends in. Yeah, I just feel like I'm looking at a cooking channel.
Kind of. And then the next thing you'll need is a bread pan, which just looks like this. And then the last two I did not bring because now it's been a little crazy. But you'll need an oven. This is, I would say, pretty typical for Taiwan. Like a large toaster oven. That's what we have at our house and what we bake with. And then you also need oven mitts for the oven. Otherwise, that would not be good. You burn yourself. But yeah.
So you also call this a pan?
Yep.
I thought the pan should usually in the round shape.
Yes, that is confusing.
This is a
But
baking pan.
this is a baking pan. Specifically, we call it a bread pan. Yep. So
English is dumb.
it can be
Have same thing in Chinese.
many similar.
盘子 is all 盘子. Round, anything, any funny shape. My wife even bought a very funny combination. It's yin and yang. You guys ever seen it? I think it's also in IKEA. It's a little bit like a semi-circular kind of shape. And you have like yin and yang for the display. You have no idea. She's not cooking much, but anyway. She couldn't be saying anything bad about her. Yeah, people love to some people love to collect all these cooking.
Yeah, there can be like you can get lower quality ones. I would say IKEA is probably on the lower quality
Yes.
side, but then you can get more expensive ones too. But in reality, a lot of times the cheap ones and the expensive ones still do the same job.
Of course.
So one might just last longer than the other, the expensive one. But was there any utensils that you guys had not heard of before or not seen before?
No, a lot of them. I don't even know how to say these rubber spatula.
Spatula.
Is that even English?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Sure, probably. I mean,
What language it comes from?
oh,
Maybe Italian.
maybe Italian.
Yeah.
Spatula.
Just the
Yeah,
way you are saying it. Sounds Italian.
But yeah, you have to distinguish a rubber spatula because another way, like spatula, is like when you flip. Like
Okay,
something
Yeah.
like a
that.
pancake.
Like
Maybe
a
French.
pancake.
I know.
Yeah, maybe French. A lot of baking does come from
Yeah.
French.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
But, all right, now that we know all the things we need, we're going to start with the directions. So the first thing you'll do is preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. But a lot of ovens in Taiwan aren't in Fahrenheit. So you either gotta Google it or memorize what the
Do the formula.
conversion, what the conversion is. Does anyone know what 350 degrees in Fahrenheit is in Celsius?
Definitely over 100.
Roughly 200.
About 180.
160.
Close.
180.
180.
180.
There it is. Yep. Between 170 and 180.
Mhm.
Okay.
But yeah. So here's a video, since I didn't bring an oven, to show you guys how you would preheat. You don't really need the audio, but he goes to stay on, and then he moves it. Not really super clear, but it's 180. And then the red light comes on, and it starts to heat up. Yep. Some ovens don't have the continuous heat, and like our oven doesn't have continuous heat, so it's just a timer. So typically it takes like 10 to 15 minutes to preheat, so I'll just turn the timer on for like 10 to 15 minutes, so then the oven is warm when I'm putting the baked goods in. Yep. And the reason you want the oven to be warm is because the time on the recipe is accounting for the oven's already warm. And the longer you keep it in there, the longer chance you have of potentially burning it or overcooking it. So that's why you want it that 350 degrees before you put the pan in. All right, so once you do that, oops. There we go. we're gonna actually get to making the batter. Woohoo! All right, so the first step is to add oil, which is 3/4 of a cup, which is that the biggest one or the second biggest one? Do you guys remember? Second, yeah. Good job. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna just take the oil. Sorry. There we go. I ran out of my oil last night making, so I see more today. All right, so we pour it into the measuring cup.
Whoa.
And since this is 3/4, we just fill it all the way up.
Whoa, it's a lot of oil.
Yeah, it is. Makes it really moist.
There should be some kind of background music right now.
The
Dun, 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 dun.
bowl. I do usually listen to music when I bake. All right, the next ingredient is sugar. Take sugar. That's a lot of sugar. So we're gonna do one whole cup of sugar.
Seriously.
Yep. And it makes it taste so good. So it's important to completely fill it up.
How many grams?
And then I like to shake it off so that it's like level. So you see how it's level? It's a full cup.
Oh my
You
God.
just pour it into the batter.
It's a lot of sugar.
Wow.
More than what I ate in 1 year.
Plus banana,
Yeah.
which is already sweet.
You probably could. You probably would want to maybe adjust, like maybe how much flour you're adding. So it could take a little bit of trial and error. But yeah, you could probably put like however much sugar you want.
Is it possible to put, if we just don't put any sugar, become like a
That could be
non-sugar?
pretty bland if you did that. I don't think I would go below half.
Okay.
Like this is a cup. I feel like the lowest I would go is a half a cup of sugar. Otherwise, it's not gonna taste right. But yeah, that is an option. And then the next step is adding 2 eggs. You guys know how to crack eggs? You probably know how better than I do. I'm not very good at it.
Are you ready?
I always just do the side of the bowl.
Oh, that's good.
Same.
So much better.
Some people can do it like with one hand. I can't do that.
That bowl's not a very good edge.
No, it doesn't. There we go.
Oh, man. Wow.
Darn it, I dropped a eggshell in. Take that out. All right. So we added our 3 first ingredients. Now we're gonna whisk it together. Does someone want to whisk it?
You want to try?
Yeah.
You probably don't cook that much.
True.
All right.
You can put Laura and Rika to try something later. She's going to leave alone. So.
We have a few more steps so people can do it. All right. Good job.
Yeah.
Just mixing it all together. I wish I had a clear bowl. I did have one at one point, but it broke.
Oh,
So unfortunately, you guys can't see it, but we can pass it around.
Yep.
All right. That's good. Good
Oh.
job. Yep. So
so
I'll
not
show you
not having
guys.
flour yet, right?
No flour yet. So this is just
Oh, okay.
oil, sugar, and eggs. So this is what it looks like when it's all combined. Basically, you just want it all to be the same color, and that's how you know it's all combined.
What's it taste?
No, not now. Raw eggs
Yeah, fresh.
could be dangerous.
All right. So now that we've got that step, we're gonna move on to mashing the bananas. So we're gonna take our 3 bananas, put them into this bowl. Sorry.
Does anyone find it like a little bit when you eat the brown banana?
Mm.
And it's rotten already. but it's not, and you're afraid to eat it.
Yeah, I don't know if I would eat a banana just like this on its own, but I put it in banana bread. I think as long as it's not moldy, then like it's okay. Or like sometimes bananas can get like oozy. That I would say would be too far. You probably shouldn't use that. Or if it like smells really bad, that's also probably a good sign to not use it.
Those are the ones we would use in all banana bread, you know. Like the
All right, who wants to
right
mash
things?
the bananas?
Yeah.
Tim, with the anger.
Anger. Get the anger out.
Yes. This should be therapeutic for you.
Now I want to do something.
Oh, shoot. Rita, do you want to mash the bananas? Thank you.
Yeah, something really time me today. Who are from Taiwan? I'm just curious. Typically, we just probably go to a store and get one instead of making them. I think people here are pretty lazy. In a way, we want.
I feel like something nice about banana bread is it's like once you buy these ingredients, like they're more like we call them staples, like kitchen staples. So like you buy them in pretty large bulk. So like you don't have to get a ton of ingredients every time you want to make it. Plus, once you like know the recipe, like it goes pretty quick. Like
Yeah, but one thing that really bothers me is that if you buy an apartment or rent an apartment or house here, you don't get an oven.
Yeah.
And this is going to be something major. Can be anything that I check in the United States, you automatically will be provided with an oven.
Yeah.
So baking is not a big deal in the States and back here. A teacher from Japanese apartment actually purchased the same apartment constructor, and she lives right just one street across. And some stupid design that keeps her room really moisture, and so she had to have an oven to dry it up. Otherwise, the cooking and everything, the kitchen will become really wet. So that's the only apartment that we know around everybody here having an oven. So to me, no, she has to bake it every week for some certain reason to heat it up. So, and I also find this is quite unique. Probably, student of mine right now lives in Irvine, and then she was telling me probably taking LA and maybe New York City away. In America, you probably don't enjoy that much convenience like what you have in most Asian cities. Yeah, so people have to make something. Okay? You guys ever try a meatball here? Okay, I mean the local one, not the one from the Italian restaurants. Raw one. Anybody ever try? A lot of Chinese immigrants love to make them, or some other steaming cakes from Taiwan, because you don't really get them if you live in the States. It's very difficult. Probably have to invent a lot of stuff by yourself. I tried several xian suji several times. James, you guys probably have that, right?
what?
The fried spicy chicken nuggets from the vendors. Yeah, I made it twice. I almost got myself killed because the oil and the temperature.
Was it so
I just wanted to
frozen?
put basil leaves into it, and everything just came back.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that oil.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the mashed bananas. Yeah, it doesn't look super great, but you can kind of choose how mashed you want your bananas, like how chunky you want it or how mashed. I prefer more like mashed. So I just have the banana flavor, not so much actual bananas, but that's a choice you can make. All right, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna come back to the big bowl, and we're gonna add milk, vanilla, and then the mashed bananas. So there's 2 tablespoons of milk. Who remembers which one of these is the tablespoon?
Well, the largest one.
The biggest one?
Yeah.
So we're gonna do 2 of these. And it's really okay if it kind of like overflows a little bit. That's why I do it over the bowl. No. All right. And then we're gonna a teaspoon of vanilla. Again, do you guys remember which one is which? This one?
Mhm.
The bigger one. Yep, good job. A little tablespoon, or teaspoon, sorry. And again, I always do it over the bowl, so if it overflows a little bit, it's totally fine. All right. And then we're gonna whisk that all together. Does someone want to mix it together? Anyone?
Come on.
Frida? No.
Well, she mastered.
Yeah.
She
Come on,
mastered
Aaron.
it.
Yeah.
So you can have banana.
You do
We gotta- we gotta
get no
work for
banana
it.
bread. You gotta work
Yeah,
for it.
see? I think I'm just scared.
Tell me when to stop.
I think that's good. Good job. Okay, so yeah, you basically just want to whisk it until it's all incorporated and it's the same color. It's like the color might change slightly, but you just want all the same. Right, and then I'm gonna add the bananas.
Okay.
Alrighty, the bananas. We're just gonna stir it all together. So the batter just looks a little, I'm closer to you guys, more soupy now. We added the milk and the vanilla, and the eggs have quite a bit of like liquid content. Yep, and like the bubbles, it's like good because that means you're like whisking it and adding air to it. Mm-hmm.
It smells really good.
And sugar and the vanilla.
Okay.
Yes.
That's really good. All right, now we're going on to step 6. Which is the flour, baking soda, and baking powder. All right, so 2 cups of all-purpose flour.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna take the big cup again.
Okay. The biggest one.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna fill it up
All purpose.
like it's overflowing. Do you see that?
Mhm.
And then you're gonna take. Some people take a knife. I just use a measuring spoon because I already have it. You kind of tap it off like this, and then scrape it. So then it's even.
人家知道高筋、中筋、低筋嘛。
Add it to the batter.
知道，但是
And then
I
you
have
do
no
that one
idea
more
what the
time.
difference
You
is.
need 2 cups.
I didn't realize that they went to the
Take it
I
again.
heard about them. I didn't know what they mean. So I still don't know now. My mom knew.
And slide.
Like something
Okay.
called udon, noodles will be very
And
different.
pour it
And
in.
baozi and like total big different. I don't know what in America you get these terms a lot. All purpose.
Mhm.
It's so confusing. If you want to get like a snow tires, if you drive in the winter,
All right, and the next
and then you
one
have
is
all-purpose tires.
a teaspoon
It's
of
really-
baking
I
soda.
got hit several times
All right,
because of
so
the time.
I used my
So it's
my
all-purpose
teaspoon already
flour.
to use vanilla,
I have no idea.
and it's wet,
Mhm.
and it will stick to the teaspoon if it's already wet.
Mhm.
So you can either dry it, which I'm not going to do. What instead I'm going to do is I'm going to take my half a teaspoon and I'm just going to double it.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
then it creates 1 full teaspoon of baking soda. Make sure this is the soda. Yep. Just make sure it's like level. Got it? It's a half. And another half. And then for the baking powder, we need 2 teaspoons. I'm gonna do the same thing, but instead of 2, since it's a half, we'll take 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. My My grandma always had me say things out loud, so then I would remember how many I had done, if it was over 2. All right, now we're gonna mix this together. Ben, you wanna mix it together?
Wow.
Takes a little bit of time to get it all incorporated, but you want to go slow so then the flour doesn't go everywhere. Good job. Like corn? Yeah, kind of like the yellow from the eggs. All right, that's good. You're good. Thank you. All right, so now that it's really thick, we're gonna be done with the whisk. Let's put that in here. Then we're gonna take the rubber spatula and we're gonna scrape the sides. Here, I'll come closer to you guys so you can see it. So you see how there's everything on the side? We want to take the spatula and scrape it so we get all that flour gets all incorporated. So like all the sides gets incorporated because we want everything.
Everything.
Yeah, so everything is combined. And then I kind of just like, we'll go through it and make sure the clumps are bananas and not flour. Sometimes it's hard to tell, but I'll just like kind of scrape it on the sides to see if it's flour or banana. All right, so that's our full batter. The next thing is to take our pan and we'll take a cooking spray. You don't have to use cooking spray, it's just the easiest. You can also use butter and wipe it all around, or you can just take this oil that you already had, maybe take like a paper towel and wipe the pan. The reason you want to do that is so then the banana bread doesn't stick to the pan and you're able to take it out and eat it. So just
See that?
spray it.
This is the most American product that I have ever seen in my life.
Spray oil.
Every time I use the insect spray, I will think about.
I actually made my own ones because I couldn't.
Really?
I didn't know like Costco had this. It's like basically just oil in a spray bottle.
Yeah, it's just
Yep.
kind of cool.
You can add like a little bit of water, so then it is a little bit more like liquidy. Does that make sense? But, yeah.
Interesting.
All right. Then we're gonna pour it into the pan. Does anyone want to be brave and pour it into the pan?
Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think we have not done that skillful.
Okay. So you see on the bowl how it has this lip right here.
Right. Oh,
It's kind of
okay.
like a pour out. And this one is more just to hold it. You don't have to have this, like you can still pour it, but it makes it a little bit easier to
Yeah.
do so.
How from how high up could you pour it and still make it in?
It's not Indian. It's not
It's too
Indian.
much of a mess.
Indian tea. You don't have to do that. They are just doing it for fancy purpose.
I recommend to be close to the pan. You
Yeah.
don't want to mess your
I thought you were
batter.
professional. That's okay.
James, you see the people fry like vegetables and trying to throw them across the sky. Yeah. Very Singaporean and Malaysian.
Oh yeah.
So if you guys notice, I'm kind of just moving the bowl as I push it out, so then it kind of gets everywhere.
It doesn't change anything. It just
And then, so you have that, but there's a lot left in the bowl. So that's why you have the rubber spatula.
okay.
So you can scrape it all out. No one's left behind. So I'm gonna switch. Alrighty. Almost made it without splattering. Alright, then you have the pan. Make sure it's even. And then if you guys notice, I got a little bit of batter on the side. You can just leave it, but it makes it harder to clean. So I recommend taking a towel and just wiping it down. That's just kind of a little tip. All right, so we poured the batter into the pan. now we have our preheated oven that we did before. I actually had an oven. I would put it into the oven and I would let it bake for about 45 to 60 minutes. Typically what I do is I start on the low end because you can always bake it longer, but you can't take it back if you make it too long. So I would start with 45 minutes, and then after the 45 minutes, you will check it. And to check it, you poke the center. I typically use a chopstick, or you can use a toothpick, but in this video, it's around here. I'll show you. Oh.
Yeah,
Okay, so see how they poke it? And then this came out completely clean. There was no batter onto the little stick. If you poke it and the stick comes out and it's still like loopy, like the batter or runny, then you need more time. Or maybe it's not running, but the cake or the bread still sticks to the stick or the chopstick. That also means it needs a little bit more time. You want it to be completely clean when it pulls out. That's how you know it's ready. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right. So then,
Can you also tell by color?
typically, yeah. Sometimes these ovens are a little deceiving though, like because the heat is so close. The top can brown really fast, but the inside will still be chewy. It's really frustrating when that happens. If that happens, I recommend putting tinfoil over top because then it won't brown the top. It will just cook everything inside. So, like last night when I had the rock temperature, it browned really fast. The inside was still jiggly, so I put tinfoil on top, and then it was able to bake the inside without burning the top of it. Yep. If you want it a little bit more brown or crispy, you can leave it in longer. But just know it's going to make it a little bit more dry the longer you leave it in. So if it comes out clean, that's a good sign that it's going to be perfect. Yep. So once you take it out of the oven, you let it sit. That's the hardest part, is to wait. You have to let it sit for like 10 minutes or let it cool, and then you can cut it and eat it.
This is the magic moment.
Mm-hmm.
And you have banana bread.
Wow.
A plus.
The magic has happened.
There was no problems with this lesson.
All right, so that's how you make it. We're gonna have an activity. You guys can eat your banana bread while you do our activity, but I'll go on to that. But before, does anyone have any questions about the recipe or what to do?
Do you think like if you use ripe bananas, would it affect the taste in any way? Or as long as the bananas are ripe, then it's fine.
Yeah, I would say you're gonna want a ripe banana just because ones that aren't ripe aren't gonna mash super well. And they're not gonna be as sweet, so it's not gonna taste as like sweet as what you want. That's happened to me before where I'm like, oh, I really want banana bread, but my bananas are still yellow/green. So what I have done is I kind of tricked it and I baked the bananas while still in the peel at a low temperature for like 30 minutes. And it kind of caramelizes.
Right, it makes them riper.
It ripens them a little bit faster. It's still not quite as perfect as if you let it happen naturally, but it's kind of like a hack to get the ripe bananas because it breaks down the sugar in the banana, which causes it to caramelize a little bit, which gets like that flavor a little bit more.
Can the bananas be too ripe? Can they be too brown?
They definitely can. If you saw our counter a day ago, it had 2 ripe bananas. And that usually you can tell because there's mold on them. Or